Welcome to Malta International Airport, where close to 1.2 million visitors start their holidays each year. Most of them get a very brief view of the islands through the windows of their holiday jet. But today, we're going to do a lot better than that. I'm going to take you back up in the air, not in an airliner, but in a tiny Microlight aircraft. Actually, we're going to fly in two of them, and I'll tell you about them both as we taxi out to our takeoff runway on the western side of Lucca Airport. We're going to start in this Tucano. It's got a flat-4 Volkswagen Beetle engine at the back and looks like an unfinished Meccano project, but it's got enormous windows and is a perfect camera platform. Later, we'll go up in this British-made T600. It looks more like a conventional airplane, just much smaller. Now, I've never actually been up in a Microlight before, and I must admit that I'm not quite sure what to expect, but here goes. I'm about to find out. Although we started a good halfway down runway 24, there still seems to be miles of it left. It really is unusual to operate this type of plane out of a busy international airport, and a 1.5 mile long runway is a luxury that most Microlight pilots have to do without. Let's take a look at the map and see where we're off to. We'll follow the line of the runway down to the south coast. It's a bit more than 2 miles away, then we're going to turn left and fly parallel with the coast for a bit before heading northeast across the country to Marsa Scala, where we'll make another turn out to sea and follow the coastline clockwise as far as Marsa Schlock. Beneath us is agricultural land and huge limestone quarries. The sun is baking the fields and causing strong thermals, which are making our flight a bit on the bumpy side. Dead ahead, 200 miles across the Mediterranean, is Libya and the African continent. But we'll leave Libya for another day and make a hard left turn here. We've just got permission from air traffic control to cross the line of Lucca's longest runway, so we're going to head right up to the northeast corner of Malta. Marsa Scala is not on the main tourist track. Not many decades ago, most of the houses around this bay belonged either to fishermen or were summer homes for people from nearby Zabar or Zaitu. Marsa Scala has its fair share of restaurants, bars, and a couple of decent hotels. Off the coast to the south is the jagged Munjar Reef. It is a popular spot for scuba divers, although strong currents can make it tricky. Not just for divers, but for shipping as well. In fact, it has been said, a little bit controversially, that St. Paul was actually shipwrecked here in 60 AD, and not in the bay in the north of Malta that was named after him. Apparently, water depths here on the east coast closely match the biblical accounts, and Roman anchors and other artifacts of the right age have been found on the seabed. We're approaching another Marsa Schlock, and we're going to come back down to earth for a couple of minutes for a wander through the streets of one of the most photographed spots in Malta. If you look at your holiday brochure, the chances are that the brightly coloured boats on the front cover were photographed here. Over 40% of Malta's fishing industry is based in Marsa Schlock. On weekdays, the catch goes off to Valletta for sale, but on Sunday mornings, the whole of the waterfront is turned into an enormous fish market. You'll find fish of every description here, many of which you'll recognize, like tuna, swordfish, and dorado. Others are a lot less familiar, and frankly, some of them look barely edible. One thing that you do have to admit, though, is that they are fresh. You won't find these in the supermarket back home. If wet fish are not on your shopping list, you'll be pleased to hear that there is also the usual collection of stalls selling souvenirs, local produce, clothes and pets. Okay, you probably don't want a pet either, but you could do a lot worse than spend an hour or so soaking up the sights and smells of the market before settling down to lunch at one of the many excellent restaurants in the village.